Hello, dear friends. Let's continue reading Bhagavad-gita as it is. We read chapter 1, observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And last time we read a set of verses starting from text 32 until 35. So today we'll try to read a few more texts. But first we will revise the text 32, 33, 34, and 35, where Arjuna tells Krishna that he doesn't want to fight, and he addresses him as Govinda, which means that Arjuna wants Govinda to satisfy his senses, Arjuna's senses, not other way around. So let's read 32, 35, and then we will start new texts. O Govinda, of what avail to us are a kingdom, happiness, or even life itself, when all those for whom we may desire them are now arrayed on this battlefield? O Madhusudana, when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, fathers-in-law, grandsons, brothers-in-law, and other relatives are ready to give up their lives and properties, and are standing before me, why should I wish to kill them, even though they might otherwise kill me? O maintainer of all living entities, I am not prepared to fight with them, even in exchange for the three worlds, let alone this earth. What pleasure will we derive from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra? So the question here was, what pleasure will we derive? What is the pleasure for Arjuna in killing all the sons of Dhritarashtra? So we see that Arjuna is mostly preoccupied with his own pleasure, with his own happiness. All right, so let's continue. We have text 36 now. I will try to read Sanskrit and translation of Srila Prabhupada, and then we will try to read the purport, discuss it. We will try to also read some notes from Gauranga Priya Prabhu and Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur's commentary to this verse. Text 36. Papam eva shrayet asman, hatvaitan atataina, tasman narhavayam hantum, dhartarashtran sabandhavan, svajanam hi katham hatva, sukhinam syama madhava. The translation: sin will overcome us if we slay such aggressors. Therefore, it is not proper for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and our friends. What should we gain, O Krishna, husband of the goddess of fortune? And how could we be happy by killing our own kinsmen? Purport. According to Vedic injunctions, there are 6 kinds of aggressors. Number 1, a poison giver. 2, one who sets fire to the house. 3, one who attacks with deadly weapons. 4, one who plunders riches. 5, one who occupies another's land, and 6. One who kidnaps a wife. Such aggressors are at once to be killed, and no sin is incurred by killing such aggressors. Such killing of aggressors is quite befitting any ordinary man. But Arjuna was not an ordinary man. He was saintly by character, and therefore he wanted to deal with them in saintliness. This kind of saintliness, however, is not for a kshatriya. Although a responsible man in the administration of a state is required to be saintly, he should not be cowardly. For example, Lord Rama was so saintly that people even now are anxious to live in the kingdom of Lord Rama, Rama Rajya. But Lord Rama never showed any cowardice. Ravana was an aggressor against Rama because Ravana kidnapped Rama's wife, Sita. But Lord Rama gave him sufficient lesson, unparalleled in the history of the world. In Arjuna's case, however, one should consider the special type of aggressors, namely his own grandfather, own teacher, friends, sons, grandsons, etc. Because of them, Arjuna thought that he should not take the severe steps necessary against ordinary aggressors. Besides that, saintly persons are advised to forgive. Such injunctions for saintly persons are more important than any political emergency. Arjuna considered that rather than kill his own kinsmen for political reasons, it would be better to forgive them on ground of religion and saintly behavior. He did not therefore consider such killing profitable simply for the matter of temporary bodily happiness. After all, kingdoms and pleasures derived therefrom are not permanent, so why should he risk his life and eternal salvation by killing his own kinsman? Arjuna addressing of Krishna as Madhava, or the husband of the goddess of fortune, is also significant in this connection. He wants he wanted to point out to Krishna that as the husband of the goddess of fortune, he should not induce Arjuna to take up a matter which would ultimately bring about misfortune. Krishna, however, never brings misfortune to anyone, not to say nothing of his devotees. All right. So we see that Arjuna tells about the sinful reaction which can come out of slaying or killing these warriors on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. He says, sin will overcome us as if we slay such aggressors. Arjuna knows exactly who are considered as aggressors. These are 6 categories of people: the poison givers, those who set fire to house, those who attack with deadly weapons, those who steal the riches, those who occupy the land, and those who kidnap wives. those are considered to be aggressors, and such aggressors are fit to be killed at once. Arjuna knows exactly who are the aggressors, that he knows that the sons of Dhritarashtra, they did all these six categories of sinful deeds, actions, and they had to be killed. But being a saintly person, Arjuna does not want to take immediate action. He wants to forgive these aggressors. Again, being a saintly person. He says, therefore, it is not proper for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and our friends. He wants to forgive them, and he does not want to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra. He says to Krishna that he is that Krishna is a husband of the goddess of fortune. It means that Krishna should bring happiness and fortune to Arjuna. But what fortune will he gain by killing his own brothers and friends? Not to say nothing about grandfather and teacher, who he does not want to kill at all. What does Srila Prabhupada say? He says that aggressors, such as mentioned above, are to be killed at once, and no sinful reactions come after that. More to that, Srila Prabhupada also says that such killing of aggressor is quite befitting any ordinary man. So any person who acts accordingly is not to be considered a killer. He should not suffer any consequences of such action. Killing the aggressor is quite befitting this ordinary man. But Arjuna was not an ordinary man. He was a saintly person. He wanted to deal with them in a saintly manner. Being a saintly person, Arjuna wanted to show this kindness of heart. This kind of saintliness, however, is not for Kshatriya. Yes, this is a little uh, uh, this is quite important thing. Arjuna was not a Shudra, he was not Vaishya, he was not even a Brahmana. Showing this saintliness would be okay if he was a Brahmana. But Arjuna wasn't a Brahmana, he was a Kshatriya. And the saintliness of a Kshatriya is to execute the important actions which are required in his situation. For a Kshatriya, it is important to do his dharma, to do his religious duty, which means to protect the ordinary people from anything which can be a cause of distress. Although a responsible man in the administration of the state is required to be saintly, he should not be cowardly. Which means that Arjuna should not be fearful, he should be brave enough to execute his duties. Although he wanted to spare the life of the sons of Dhritarashtra, but being a kshatriya, he needed to execute his duty and protect the ordinary people. For example, Lord Rama was a saintly person. Yes. So Lord Rama was Supreme Bhagavan himself, but and he was also saintly person. But he, at the same time, he gave the sufficient lesson to Ravana, who kidnapped his wife, Sita. And this is the lesson for all the people to follow, which was unparalleled in the history of the world. Yes, it was quite a lesson, which took place many, many, many years ago. In Arjuna's case, however, one should consider a special type of aggressor, namely his own grandfathers and teachers, friends, and so on. So this is the problem. If there were not his friends, sons, grandsons, grandfather, teacher, maybe Arjuna would have thought otherwise. If there hadn't been these relatives, Arjuna would have thought in a different manner. He was very attached to his relationship with his relatives, and this was the cause, this was the reason for him to act in a cowardly way. If there were other people, not his relatives, probably he would be more determined to execute his religious duty. Because of them, Arjuna thought that he should not take severe steps necessary against ordinary aggressors. Besides that, saintly persons are advised to forgive. Yeah, being a saintly person, Arjuna wanted to forgive, especially his relatives. Arjuna considered that rather than kill his own kinsmen for political reasons, it would be better to forgive them. Again, very important is his own kinsmen. This is the problem. He wanted to enjoy life with his relatives, with his grandfather, with his teacher, with his brothers, and many other types of relatives. For this reason, he wanted to forgive them on ground of religion, and to show at the same time he wanted to forgive them and not kill them. And this he proves that he is right on the basis of religion, that he is a saintly person. Of course, Arjuna is a saintly person, but he also wanted not to execute his duty and prove his idea that he is right on the religion, on the basis of religion, as a saintly behavior. He did not, therefore, consider such killing profitable, and he wasn't also considering this killing as a profitable for his life. After all, kingdoms and pleasures derived therefore from are not permanent, so why should he risk his life and eternal salvation by killing his own kinsman? Arjuna, addressing Krishna as Madhava, he wanted that he wanted to point out that Krishna should give fortune and not misfortune. And Arjuna was saying, how will he benefit from this situation? How he, Arjuna, himself, benefit from this situation? And though so that Krishna should give him fortune, not other way around, not misfortune. Right? What did Gauranga Priya Prabhu say about this? So the common theme for this verse is that uh, Arjuna Arjuna says that fighting will incur sinful reaction, and he says about 6 kinds of aggressors. Arjuna wants to forgive based on the ground of religion and saintly behavior. He wants to he wants not to fight. And he also addresses Krishna as Madhava, so that Krishna should not cause any misfortune for him. And yes, this is about it. Let's see what did Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur say about this. This is text 37. Thirty-six, 37, 38. Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur translated 2 texts. Text 37 and 38. Even if they, overcome by greed, do not see fault of destroying the family and the sin in killing friends, should not we, who see the fault in destroying the family, I think it should be 35. 35 or 36? We read 36. We read 36. Here we go. It's text 36. Sorry. In killing these aggressors, we will only incur sin. Therefore, we should not kill the sons of Dhritarashtra with their relatives. O Madhava, how can we live happily having killed our own relatives? Purport. But it is said, the arsonist, one who poisons, one who attacks with weapons, the thief, the stealer of property and stealer of one's wife, are considered aggressors. This is difficult to say. Vashi noha smati. It's difficult to say. Where is it? It's 319. Maybe it's Vasishtha Smriti. It's quite how to understand this. Agnido garada chaiva shastra pair dhana panhau kshetra darapaharecha now ete hi atatai now. So these are the 6 kinds of aggressors. And there is also it is said, without consideration, one should kill the aggressors, as there is no fault in killing them. Manu Smriti. Yeah, probably this is Smriti. Vasinoha. Vasishtha Smriti. Maybe. Vasi. Alright. Thus, the scriptures prescribe killing in the case of aggressors. Arjuna answers with this verse: killing them will remain, but we will be sinful. The above instructions are from Artha Shastra, but those instructions are weaker than those from Dharma Shastra. Yajnavalkya says, it is established that where there is conflict of rules in the two Smriti statements, reasoning must prevail of customs to choose the correct rule. However, in reasoning, the rules of Dharma Shastra are stronger than those of Artha Shastra. Yajnavalkya Smriti 221. Thus, though they are aggressors, they are also acharyas. In killing acharyas, we will incur sin. We cannot also be happy in this life or the next, since the act is against the rules of dharma and against the conclusion of reasoning. Thus, he says, how can we be happy having killed our own people? Well, this is serious situation because Arjuna knows Shastra very well. He says that I know, dear Krishna, about the 6 types of aggressors from, it looks like Vasishtha Smriti, maybe. And Arjuna also says that he knows exactly what does Manu Samhita or Manu Smriti says, that by killing these types of aggressors, the person who does it does not incur any sin from this activity. But, says Arjuna, there is one more saying to this, and namely, Arjuna answers that killing them will remain and it will be sinful. Why it will be sinful? Because these instructions about these 6 types of aggressors are from Artha Shastra, but there is also Dharma Shastra. And Dharma Shastra prescribes to forgive any type of aggressors. And moreover, Yajnavalkya, he says that if there is a conflict between the Shastras, one should consider the Shastra um, which is above to be stronger, such as Artha Shastra is um, is not as um, uh, Dharma Shastra is stronger. The statements of Dharma Shastra is stronger than the same of Artha Shastra. So Arjuna does not want to live by the Artha Shastra anymore. He wants to follow the rules of Dharma Shastra. And thinking about this, he does not want to kill the aggressors. He says that by killing acharyas, namely Bhishma and Acharya Drona, he will incur sin, and he cannot be happy neither in this life nor in the next by killing his own grandfather and teacher and friends and sons and cousins. He will incur only sin, and which will lead to his miserable life, both in this life and in the next. Yeah, it is quite a situation, and Arjuna is right. Okay, this is not an easy situation. From one side, from one on the one hand, Arjuna should kill all these relatives because this is the prescription of the Artha Shastra. It's Manu Samhita and probably Vasishtha Smriti. But on the other side, he should act in a saintly way, and to forgive, especially uh, knowing that there is Bhishma and Drona on the other side of the battlefield, and he should kill them. So this is quite a dilemma for Arjuna. And we are very lucky to have this dilemma, that he had this problem, because now by reading what he says and what questions he asks Krishna, we can benefit from the answers of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All right, let's continue. Hope we have time for one more, or no more, maybe two more verses, because these are 37 and 38. Yadu api etena pashyami lobhopaha tacheta saha kulakshaya kritam dosham mitra rohe chapatakam katham na gyeyam asmabhih papat asman nivartitum kulakshaya kritam dosham prapashyabhir janardana. The translation: O Janardana, although these men, their hearts overtaken by greed, see no fault in killing one's family or quarreling with friends, Why should we, who can see the crime in destroying a family, engage in these acts of sin? Purport. A kshatriya is not supposed to refuse to battle or gamble when he is so invited by some rival party. Under such an obligation, Arjuna could not refuse to fight because he had been challenged by the party of Duryodhana. In this connection, Arjuna considered that the other party might be blind to the effect of such a challenge. Arjuna, however, could see the evil consequences and could not accept the challenge. Obligation is actually binding when the effect is good. But when the effect is otherwise, then no one can be bound. Considering all these pros and cons, Arjuna decided not to fight. In this verse, Arjuna says that I see those people on the other side of battlefield are overtaken by greed. They want to have this fight because they want to enjoy kingdom and and luxury of having a kingdom. But even though they want to fight, how can we, Arjuna thinks, fight with them, knowing that this will destroy a family? Uh-huh, uh-huh. So Arjuna speaks in a very intelligent way. He considers all the cons, all the pros, and he sees that this fight will finish the family traditions, it will destroy the family. And how can anything good come out of it? He is not greedy person. He does not want to enjoy the kingdom himself with no matter what the consequence is. And in this purport, Srila Prabhupada says about the code of Kshatriya. Kshatriya is supposed to participate in the battle or in the game, in the gamble, if he is asked by some rivalry party. It is considered for a kshatriya as inappropriate to refuse the battle or the gamble. But there is one rule to it. The binding is actually uh, in effect when the consequence is good. And if the effect of this battle or of this gamble is bad, is otherwise than good, so there is no binding. And the person, the kshatriya, he needs to refuse this action. Considering all these pros and cons, Arjuna decided not to fight. So Arjuna decided that the consequence of this battle is not good. The destroying of the family is not to be considered as something good. So he decided to refuse this battle. In Bhagavad-gita notes, we see Arjuna wants to forgive. Arjuna wants to not to participate in this battle because this battle, or the result of this battle, will bring misfortune. And saintliness of Arjuna, Arjuna thought that uh, Arjuna's uh, Arjuna thought consideration of evil consequences. So he considered the evil consequences of this battle. And he understood that obligations which are not to be refused if he is challenged to battle or gamble, and he understood that these obligations are binding him only when the effect is good. And knowing that the consequence is not good, he cannot be obliged to fight. Text 37:38. Even if they, overcome by greed, do not see the fault in destroying the family and the sin of killing friends, should not we, who see the fault in destroying the family, know how to withdraw from this sin, O Janardana? So Arjuna says, why does the opposing side want to fight then? He answered with this verse: they, overcome by greed, and do not see any fault in destroying the family or any sin in killing friends. Arjuna says that the opposite party is overcome by greed. Greed is a power which can force a person to act in a sinful way, forgetting about any rules and norms of normal behavior. So the opposite party was overcome by greed. They wanted only to enjoy no matter what. And so they did not see any destructive activities in their actions. Sin, they did not see any sin in killing friends. But Arjuna says, but we are not overcome by greed. We see that destroying the family is a sinful activity. Or Janardana. He says here, why does the opposite side want to fight? Why does the opposite side want to fight? And he also answers, they are overcome by greed. and do not see any fault in destroying the family. Yeah, Arjuna understands that the opposite party, they do not see any sinful reactions, they don't see any sinful activities in what they do. Why? The reason for this is greed. All right, we can stop here. Please, if you have any questions, if you have anything to add, if you have something to say about whether I um, told something right, or maybe I was wrong about something, please write this down in the commentary section down below. I will be very happy to read and to discuss it. And probably we can call it a reading for today. For now, thank you for watching. Thank you for reading Bhagavad Gita as it is with me. And see you next time.